Hey, job seeker, welcome to episode 9 of the JobsPlus JobsCast. The JobsCast is our virtual job fair where the premise is simple. We're going to just check in with a local employer that has some immediate openings, and we're going to pull back the curtain to talk with an insider with some perspective on culture, pay, hours, benefits, things like that. And at any point, if you have a question, please drop it in the chat. We want to get those questions answered by the time that we're done. At JobsPlus, we believe in what we call empowerment through employment, and it's our goal to inspire our job seekers to gain the freedom and the power to become who you want to be as you discover self-sufficiency through the work you're paid to do. I read a quote recently by Goy Nasu, and it really resonated with me. It said, "An entire sea of water can't sink a ship unless it gets inside the ship. Similarly, the negativity of the world can't put you down unless you allow it to get inside you." In many ways, we're all kind of boats on that sea of negativity, right? We're all running in different directions, different speeds, but we're all on the same sea, and those seas get rough. And once you're in the water and it starts to breach, you're in trouble fast. Once that negativity starts seeping in, it's really hard to recover. And if you're not sure if the negative water's kind of been seeping into your boat, there's two things that I want you to pay attention to. One thing, you started to complain about everything. And the other thing is, you started believing things that aren't true about who you are. And so if those things are happening, it's time to bail out the water. And you do that by displacing the water with something else. You remind yourself who you really are. You think about the skills that you have, what your goals are, who your friends and family are, and who they say you are. Finding a job also helps you reach your goals and can be incredibly rewarding and empowering because now you're in control of your path, and that path leads you to being self-sufficient. That feeling of control and productivity and getting rewarded with the paycheck really begins to replace that negativity. And so let's make today about recognizing how much negativity has seeped into your life, and let's replace it with reminding ourselves who we are and with opportunities for reaching goals and growing as people. So with that, we're going to jump into today's conversation. Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to Mehudin Kudrick. He's a human resources manager with Stickley. And Mehudin, tell us a little bit about Stickley and kind of personally, what do you love about working there?
Hi, John. Thank you for introduction. Well, first of all, I've been with the company for 20 years, and obviously that tells you something. If I don't like it, obviously I wouldn't be, talking to you, today. So I love it because it's a family-owned company. It's a very family-oriented business. Stability, reputation. We play, major role in our community here, and also, we make great product, with great quality. Stickley's been around since 1900, so over 120 years. So we are, vertically integrated company. We have our own manufacturing facilities, one here, one in North Carolina. We have retail division. We have 15 retail showrooms. We have our wholesale side of the business. And we also recently we got into the commercial side of the business where we, furnish 4- or 5-star hotels, just to name here a few here locally, with the Turning Stone Casino, Hotel Marriott, or the Hotel Syracuse, which is now Hotel Marriott. So we've been around for a long time, and that's, as I said, those are the reasons why I'm with Stickley today after 20 years.
That's great. So obviously keeping all of those different divisions moving requires quite a few people. And I know today we wanted to talk kind of specifically about your kind of manufacturing side of things and the openings that you have there. Tell us a little bit about, what jobs you have available and kind of, day to day, what do those look like for people?
Yeah, we at this manufacturing facility here in Manlius, we currently have probably between 30 and 40 open jobs. Out of those, there are 15 maybe entry-level positions. We have 2 shifts. We have a first shift and second shift. And as far as those entry-level positions, we're looking for somebody, honestly, just who's willing to work. Everything else we'll take care of them. We'll teach him how to do the job. But the most important, thing for us is somebody who's willing to come here and work and be here every day, and we'll do the rest. Those entry-level positions are ranging from, stacking wood on pallets, transporting it from point A to point B, assisting our machine operators, sanding. We do quite a bit of sanding, inspection. If we need to inspect the table, if there are any scratches or marks. So those are the kind of main ones in terms of our entry-level positions.
That's great. You mentioned a couple shifts. What times do those shifts start and end?
Yeah, so I'm going to break it down, manufacturing and a warehouse, because they kind of work closely. So first shift in the manufacturing, part of our manufacturing starts at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they work till 3:30 Monday through Thursday. So that's 10 hours a day. Mm-hmm. And we also work from 5 till 10 on Friday, so 45 hours. So right now we're working a little bit of overtime because we're busy. And the second part of our manufacturing, they work from 6 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Okay. Now, the distribution part of our facility here, they work from 6 a.m. till 2:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Great. So those are the first shift schedules that we have. Second shift, we only have one set schedule on the second shift, and that is from 4 p.m. till 2:30 a.m. Monday through Thursday. So that would be 40 hours a week. Okay, great. And within some of that, I know you guys are out in Manlius. You're a little bit on there's a bus around, but I know it doesn't sound like it really correlates with your shifts. How have you guys kind of gotten around that? Yeah, I think there's a bus here that gets as early as 6 o'clock. Obviously, it will miss people who are starting at 5. I think there's a bus in the afternoon, but I'm not sure. Is it at 3:30 or later or earlier? So I would have to double check on that. But there's definitely no bus at 2:30. For the second shift when they get dismissed. So it's a challenging. We've been working with other people. We did a couple of job fairs, and we had people from a city, from a downtown area, and where they heavily relied on the transportation and public transportation, and that was one of the pain points, if you will. But we are willing to work with our current employees who are living within the city limits, city area, and if we identify somebody from within that area, we can go to our employee or employees and ask him to carpool or ask him to give that person a ride to and from work. Great. So there's some accommodation there, potential based on where your current employees are, and it sounds like many of them do that as a service to one another, and I believe there's some minimal cost involved for people looking for rides too, probably to help with gas money and things like that, right? Absolutely. We have a number of them that carpool. And so if you have 3-4 people, that means that you only drive once, 1 week a month. Mm-hmm. As you said, he saves the money on, gas and everything, everything else. So, there's quite a few of them that, does that. That's great. For kind of your current people, I mean, who typically has done well in these positions? Are they coming from other certain industries where they've got some different experience? I know you kind of alluded to the one main qualification is you just got to be able to work. Right. But for somebody that's looking to transition, tell me about what that looks like to, maybe where they're coming from, but also what types of things that they can expect from you guys on the training end. Mm-hmm. So ideal candidate or candidates will be for us somebody who has woodworking experience, somebody from a carpentry shop, somebody from, Raymore warehouse, I'm just using them because they're kind of in the same industry. So those would be ideal candidates, machine operators, it doesn't have to necessarily be the woodworking, industry. It can be a metal industry as long as they have a machinery experience. But we've been getting people with, from a food industry, from a retail side of the business. So as I said, we're open. We're not necessarily saying that you have to have, woodworking experience, as long as they're willing to work. And we work closely with the Refugee Resettlement Program. Sometimes, little bit of a, language barrier can be a little bit of a, an issue for us, but we have 35 different nationalities here. So it's very likely that we're going to have somebody here that would speak that person's language. So the main thing would be finding somebody who's willing to work, and we will train and we'll assign somebody in that department who will be working very closely with this person to train him. They need to know basic math, how to count. If, let's say, John, if you and I are working on a machine, you are the operator, I am the, assistant to you. So after we, put those parts to the machine, as an assistant, I need to be able to count how many parts are on that pallet, so I can write it down on a piece of paper and take him to the next operation. So some basic math. But those are the pretty much the, willing to work and, knowing some basic math. And those are the kind of two key things that we need. Everything else, as I said, will work with the candidate.
Okay. And I might have gotten ahead of myself too. What are the specific roles you're looking to fill?
So, we got, quite a few entry level, positions. As I said, they're going to be ranging from, sanding, machine, assistant to machine operators, moving stocks, from the pallet jack from point A to point B, inspectors. Those are the kind of the entry level. I would put them in the entry level bucket. But then we have forklift operators. We're looking for probably 4 or 5 of those. Mm-hmm. We're looking probably for anywhere between 5 and 10 machine operators. We're looking for a couple of local drivers. I know this is not necessarily manufacturing, but those are the ones that kind of tie to the manufacturing.
Right.
Cabinet makers. We're looking for 2 of those. So those are the kind of buckets of them. Machine operators, forklift operators, entry level position, cabinet makers.
Great. Now, tell me a little bit about your process from application to onboarding. What does that look like? What are the checks and balances? What are are there any assessments? Are there, what goes on in your onboarding process, and how long is that whole process from beginning to end?
Mm-hmm. So there are 3 processes, 3 different ways to apply. So when we work with the resettlement program, Catholic charities, refugee program, or Interfaith Works. So what I would do, I would work with somebody there, and they would bring people here, and then we would do, we would do the interview. I would be the one that would do the interview first, and then I would call one of the supervisors where the opening is, and that supervisor will come in, take the candidate out on the factory floor, show him or her what the job entails, what they're going to be doing, and show them kind of around so they can see the manufacturing woodworking, environment, if you will. So that's one way, and I'll talk about the next steps after that. The second way would be for the candidate to go to our corporate website, www.stickley.com/careers, and there is a way to apply through that through the website. Okay. And once they apply, I would get the resume, and then I would contact that person to come in, and then we'll do the same thing. I would interview them, and then I would pass them on to the hiring manager to interview.
Okay.
And the third way would be the walk-ins. We get a couple of walk-ins that come in. They will come here. I would give them application. They'll sit down, fill out the application, and then we'll do the same thing. I would interview them, then I'll pass them on to the hiring manager. So that's the beginning of the process. So after the manager interviews, and doesn't matter which way they come, after the manager interviews them, the manager will tell me, yes, I believe John will be a great addition to a team. I would like to proceed with the offer. So let's offer him this position. And so then I would come in and say, okay, John, let's sit down. We are glad to offer, we are happy that we can offer you this position. This is what the job pays. These are the benefits. These are the paperwork that you need to fill out as a part of what we call a conditional offer. So conditional offer means on your way out, you're gonna have a job offer. that outlines the position, the pay, the benefits. You're going to have some couple policies and forms that you need to fill out, including your employment references. You would fill out a medical history questionnaire. We have an occupational health office here, and we have a full-time nurse practitioner on the site. So every candidate, regardless of the position, manufacturing, retail, office, would have to fill out this medical questionnaire form. And that form, the purpose of filling this form is for us to determine, can you perform essential functions of the job?
Right.
And then we would also give you instructions to go for a drug test. So you would take all that, you would go home, fill out the paperwork, go for the drug test. After you complete that paperwork and the drug test, you would contact me and say, okay, Mahudin, I completed the paperwork. I can stop by, drop it off, or I can scan it, fax it to you, whatever works. Okay. So once I get your paperwork, I would be calling your references that you listed there. At the same time, I will be looking for your drug test results, which typically takes 2 to 3 days for us to get it. Mm-hmm. And once we finalize all that, then I will give you a call and say, okay, John, we're good to go. Welcome aboard. Let's talk about your start date. Would you be able to start next week, 2 weeks? Obviously we would want people to give a 2-week notice if they're currently working. So that's when we would, arrange the start date. And on your start date, you would be instructed to bring some documents as a part of our onboarding process. You will fill out a couple of forms, like a tax forms. And I would do the orientation with you. I would show you around. And then after that, I would take you to your supervisor, who would assign you with somebody, that person you're going to be working with for weeks or months, whatever that takes, until you're ready to go on your own. So that's kind of the whole process from start to finish.
That's great. I did have a question come in. I'm going to pop it up on the screen here. But what's required education-wise? Is there a diploma or an equivalency needed to work there?
No. So as I said, there is no requirements when it comes to that. Certain position we might, if we have, let's say, a group leader, a team leader type of a position, we might require at least a high school diploma. But for any entry-level position or other positions, no, not necessarily.
Okay. And I heard medical tests. What about background checks?
There is no background check.
Okay. No background checks. And then, in that process, there's a few steps to it. So, if someone's super motivated to get through that process, what's the fastest kind of you've seen that process, come to fruition?
Yeah, when we get people here, walk-ins or, through any of the other agencies that we use, sometimes they'll say, can I stay here and fill out the paperwork? So that way I'm not, taking 2-3 days, So they will fill out the paperwork and they would give it to me right there and then. Mm-hmm. The only thing is we would have to wait at that point, the drug test. So if somebody comes in, let's say if somebody comes in on Thursday, fills out the paperwork on Thursday, there's a chance that we can start them on Tuesday of the following week.
Okay. So relatively quickly, if they're motivated to get through it.
Correct. And to be honest with you, we want to speed up the process. We don't want to wait. We'll rather get somebody, today than tomorrow.
Right. Absolutely. How about once they're in the door, they're working, they've been there for a little while, have really started to prove themselves. How do they move up in the company? What are some possibilities for them coming in at this entry level?
Yeah, what I'm about to say I'm not saying it because I represent Stickley, but to be honest with you, this is one of the greatest companies when it comes to the growth opportunities. I started out on the factory floor, rubbing tables and inspecting tables, and I worked myself up, through a team lead, HR, and to HR manager today. 95% of our supervisors, managers, team leaders are all people that started in the entry-level positions. Mm-hmm. So we prefer to promote people within rather than go out and bring somebody, because those people, we already know who they are. They already know the job. So it makes perfect sense. So that can give you, 95% of our managers and supervisors and group leaders are promoted within. As far as somebody who's coming in as an entry level, they might start there as an entry level. So if they have any leadership type of qualities and we have a group leader or team leader type of a position, they might go directly into that job. Or next step maybe for them would be a machine operator. If I'm an assistant to you as a machine assistant operator, an assistant to a machine operator. So let's say you decide to go to another department to do something else. So my next step would be to take your job.
Mm-hmm. Great. And one thing I think as we're wrapping up here, the starting pay for some of these roles, I know you have some differences, I think, with what shift and whatnot. Is there a kind of an idea you can give us of what the pay would be?
Sure. Nobody would start below $14 an hour. So any entry level will probably go from 14 to 15. Mm-hmm. It varies in certain areas. But then once you get into the more skilled jobs, a forklift operator, a local driver, a group leader, machine operator. So they're going to be ranging between 15 and $20 an hour. So it really depends, what position, you're applying, number one, and number two, your experience, Yeah. So that also, obviously that we take that into consideration as well. As far as second shift, they can make 54 cents more than somebody on the first shift because of that shift premium.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And John, one more thing I want to mention to you while we're talking about this, we also, most of our people that we hire are employee referrals. Mm-hmm. So we have a great employee referral program, employee referral bonus. So last year we hired 160 people. Overall, I think in our manufacturing, we hired about 80 out of the 160, so half of them. Out of those 80, I think 60 of them are all employee referrals.
Oh, incredible.
Okay.
That's great. So, I mean, it sounds like it takes great people to make great furniture. And when those great people are referring, that's even better, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And those are the people that, stay with us. I mean, we have people that have been here, 45 years, some of them, so long time. So it's, as I said, it's very, stable company, family oriented with, great benefits, greater reputation, not just locally here, but, nationwide.
That's great. Anything we missed? Anything you want to leave us with to think about here?
I don't think so. I think the one thing I want to mention to you, for your coaches and everybody, who's listening to us today, I would definitely, encourage them to, visit our website, or, you're more than welcome to share my information so they can reach out directly to me. We'll be more than happy to, bring them in and talk to them about, different opportunities that we have here, not just necessarily the entry level positions.
That's great. Well, thank you, Mahudin, for being with us today. And as he said, there's a number of ways you can walk right in. You can reach out via the website, and hopefully you'll be landing a job that'll get you somewhere over $14 an hour, doing some really great work on some great furniture. So thank you, Mahudin, for joining us today. I'm going to remove you from the screen as we just wrap up, but I want to just once again say how much I appreciate what you guys do in for your employees and for the people in the community.
Thank you, John. Appreciate your time, and have a great rest of the day.
All right. Thank you, sir. So if you're interested in employment opportunities through Stickley, as usual, I want you to just contact your job coach. Let them know that you're interested in one of the roles that Mahudin shared with us today. And if at any point your brain put up a roadblock you can't seem to get around, I know maybe the transportation thing is a bit sticky for you. Talk to your coach. As I've said time and time again, our coaches are barrier breakers. They're problem solvers. So their whole job is really to just assist you in finding the career that works for you and reaching your employment goals. And if this is a step in the right direction for you because of where it's at, or the hours, or the pay, or the type of work, we really want to encourage you to look into that and talk to your coach. Reach out to Mahudin through the website. But your coaches will work with you on a solution. We want to see you working. We want to see you reaching your goals. We want to see you getting yourself out of that sea of negativity that we've talked about earlier. We are about solutions. We're about positivity, and we know that we can find something that will work for you. If you don't know who your coach is, I want to encourage you to go to our job seeker page on our website. So that's jobsplus.org/job seekers. And you can actually scroll all the way to the bottom there, and there's a form where you can leave them a message. They will be happy to help you out. If you need to give them some paperwork, if you need to ask them a question, that will come in through the website on that page, and we'll be able to get that right to them. So we encourage you to use that. As usual, I want to make a request that if you found this helpful, I want to encourage you to hit the subscribe button on the platform you're watching this on. If it's YouTube, click the bell to be reminded of when we have future live streams, when new content gets uploaded. And right there on JobsPlus.org, at the very top and the bottom of our page, you can find all of our social media. We're constantly posting jobs. We're constantly posting everything about these JobsCasts out there. And we even have a special job seeker group that's just for our internal job seekers. So go, check that out. That is also located on our job seeker page on our website. So you can scroll down, and I believe it's right above the form where you can join that group, and that is exclusively for you and alumni of our program. You can network there. You can ask or answer questions, and you'll get a steady stream of job opportunities and ways to better yourself in terms of employment and employment opportunities. But we really just encourage you to get into the group, just grow your network and talk to one another. We invite you to join our next JobsCast. Every Friday, we're seeming to do this with different employers, and we really want to invite you out. Maybe Stickley wasn't the right place for you, but there's another one coming up that you can check out. You can look at that on our website as well, on the calendar page, and we just implore you to come out and be part of that. So we really are excited to have you on the JobsCast, and we can't wait to meet with you next week. Now let's get to work.